I don't speak perfect English, and I don't think you should either. In today's English lesson, I'm going to teach you why the textbook phrases that you were taught in the classroom just simply don't always work in English conversation. Of course, a native speaker would know what you're trying to say, but sometimes the textbook phrases come off as a bit awkward, a bit stiff, and just not so natural. So in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to replace those phrases with phrases that speakers like myself actually use in their everyday English. The goal of today's lesson is to teach you some idioms and some everyday expressions that sound natural so that you can feel comfortable starting to use them instead of your textbook phrases that you learned in the English classroom. As an advanced English speaker, you should know a variety of phrases that help you express all sorts of things like greetings, making requests, expressing emotions like excitement or disappointment. So in today's lesson, I'm going to teach you these advanced phrases that you will actually be able to use every day. Now, let's get started with the lesson. Let's start with disappointment and excitement. If you want to say that you're excited about something, you might have learned in your English class to say, I'm delighted or I'm excited. And remember, when I teach you the phrases that are maybe just boring and a bit more formal in this lesson, it doesn't mean that they're wrong or you should never use them. We're just working on upgrading our English, becoming advanced English speakers, and having a variety of phrases to use that feel natural and help you express yourself even more. So don't be disappointed or sad if I say a phrase that you have been using a lot. You can continue to use the phrase, of course. Now let's pretend we got some exciting news. Maybe someone in our family is pregnant, or somebody's going to get married, or maybe just somebody is having, a lot of success in life. You could say, oh, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for you. I'm so pumped for the news. This is more of a slang phrase to be pumped about something or to be excited, but it's really, really commonly used. So I would suggest that you try to integrate this into your vocabulary. Another phrase that's very easy to use is just to say, I couldn't be more excited. Or if you're excited about someone else's news or whatever, you could say, I couldn't be more excited for you. This is a really easy, natural phrase to start using.
Oh, I'm so pumped!
Instead of just saying, I'm disappointed, this is, it's pretty harsh, but it's also just very formal and it's very overused. You could say, it's a bummer. A bummer is something that we feel disappointed or sad about. Or we can use the phrase, I feel let down, or you can use it as a noun and say, oh, this is such a letdown. It's a bummer or it's a letdown. Both these phrases are used to say that you're disappointed. And these are more idiomatic, casual expressions that just feel more natural when we use them. It's a bummer, it's a letdown, I'm bummed, I'm let down. Again, these all mean disappointed without just overusing that same expression, I'm disappointed.
It's a real bummer.
Let's describe some actions now using our new natural phrases. If you describe someone doing something very efficiently, that's a very formal way to describe that they did it, in a fast time, wasting no time or wasting no effort. Instead of just saying this, which sounds so formal, we can try out this new phrase. If you want to say that someone has done something efficiently, you can say they did it in no time. When we use this phrase, in no time, it describes something that happened quickly. Like, it doesn't literally mean no time, just a small amount of time, or it can be describing something that was surprisingly faster than we anticipated. Maybe you go to a new, really popular restaurant and you're thinking that you're going to have to wait a long time for a table, and you actually only had to wait 5 minutes, which to you didn't seem like a long time. You could say, oh, we got in no time. This just means faster than we anticipated. So this phrase, in no time, it's used very frequently, and it's used in a lot of different ways just to say quickly or quicker than expected. If you want to tell someone, hey, something's going to happen sooner than you think, you can say it's going to happen in no time. My kids are going to grow up in no time. This just means quicker than I expected. Sometimes it can get kind of boring saying, good job, you did a good job, hey, good job. It feels like we're repeating ourselves a lot, so here's a new phrase that you can use that's very natural instead. You can say, You nailed it. Nailed it. It's a slang phrase, it's more informal, but you could use this in an everyday office environment, in a workplace, or just in a casual conversation. Oh, I nailed it. That means I did a good job.
You nailed it.
Let's talk about money because money is an important everyday topic. And the rules for talking about money in America might be different than other English speaking countries or in your own country. Now, we never in America, in the United States, say that someone is poor. Well, we might, but it's considered very rude. So instead of just saying, oh, they're poor, they don't have much money, can be kind of a taboo topic. It's kind of rude to say. We'll say, oh, they're on a tight budget. This is considered a, softened way to say that they don't have a lot of money to spend. Or if you're going somewhere to buy something, maybe you're going to buy a new car, but you just don't have a lot of money to buy a new car, but you have to get where you're going, so you need to go buy one. You might say to the salesman, yeah, I'm on a tight budget. This literally means I don't have that much money to spend. Maybe you say, I only have $2,000 and it's a tight budget, meaning don't show me a car that costs $5,000 because the budget is tight. There's no room for extra cost here. So this is considered a more polite way to say, I'm poor, I don't have a lot of money, or I don't want to spend a lot of money on something.
We are on a very tight budget.
Instead of saying, wow, that's expensive, it costs a lot of money, you might show that you're surprised by how much something costs by using this natural phrase. You might say, oh, it costs a fortune. How did you afford that car? It costs a fortune. Or, gosh, groceries, they cost a fortune these days. Now, groceries, they're expensive relatively. We're used to groceries being cheap, but it feels like the price is always increasing. And really, like, it is not a fortune, a real fortune. A fortune would be, a huge amount of money. But to us, it's just using this phrase to show that we're surprised at the actual cost of something, that it's more than what we expected. So if you want to say that costs a lot of money, just say, oh, that costs a fortune.
This must have cost him a fortune.
Now, when you're speaking a new language and you're trying to make friends or just get along with people, you want to agree with them in a way that seems genuine, it seems real, or you want to show enthusiasm for something that doesn't seem like you're just faking it. You should go beyond just learning the simple phrases, I'm excited, I can't wait, this is going to be good. Like, let's learn some natural phrases that you'll actually be able to use in your conversations to build relationships and show you're excited for people and show that you're excited for plans. The phrase, I'm looking forward to it, is completely acceptable. Definitely use this phrase. But let's go a step further into how native English speakers will actually speak. Instead of just saying, I'm looking forward to it. If they are excited for, let's say, their friend's birthday party that's coming up, you might say, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. So really, I use the same inflection on both these phrases to show that I'm excited. But if you say, I can't wait, it just kind of shows you're really anticipating it. It's a dramatic way to say that you're excited for something, but it's pretty genuine. You're showing that you almost feel like you can't wait for the event. So again, you don't even have to say, I can't wait. You can just say, can't wait. Hey, are you going to the party tomorrow? Yeah, I can't wait. So really short, really informal, but highly effective and naturally used.
Can't wait.
Let's keep talking about this imaginary friend's birthday party. Maybe a different friend says, hey, do you think we should get our friend Kelly some new earrings for her birthday? She might really like these. You might say, oh, I'm all for it. Instead of just saying, yes, I agree, that sounds like a good plan, or yes, that's good. You can use this phrase to show that you agree with them and you think that they came up with a good idea. Yes, I'm all for that gift. I'm all for that plan. Using this phrase, I'm all for it, shows complete agreement. When someone has an opinion that you agree with and you think is true, you could just say, I think that's true. I agree. That's the truth. These are a little bit boring, a little bit basic, so let's go beyond again. We're going to try the phrase, there's no doubt about it. Or you could say, there's no doubt about that. That just means that you agree that's the truth. That's a really good opinion. Maybe you're speaking with your coworker and they say, I don't think we can finish this project in time. We just have no time left and our boss is really pushing us too hard. And you could say, oh, there's no doubt about it. You are right. We don't have enough time. So this is showing agreement. It's showing that you believe what they're saying.
There's no doubt about it.
Let's talk about discussing time. So these next two phrases, they're going to help you not only just sound more natural and just have a variety of phrases to use, but we're also working on that speech softening, not coming off so harsh, because one thing that's very noticeable, even of advanced English speakers, is that they're not used to the indirectness of American English speakers. We're not so direct, and it comes off as rude if you're a native speaker and you're just not expecting someone to say something so directly. So let's take a look at these two phrases. So first, maybe someone says, hey, can you help me right now? And you can't help them. You don't have time right now. You're busy with something. Instead of just saying, no, or instead of saying, now, no, I can't, or saying, something like, I'm busy, you might want to say, now is not the best time. This is way less harsh to English speakers like myself. It implies that you're willing to help them later when you have more free time. And instead of just saying, no, now's not a good time, it's saying it's not the best time. Unless it's an emergency, they will totally respond and say, oh, okay, I'll come back later or I'll email you or whatever it might be.
Maybe now's not the best time, detective.
Maybe you're working on a project with your coworkers and you're going to have to stop the work. Maybe there's some sort of factor with money or just waiting on a response from someone and you have to stop. Instead of saying, there's a delay or we need to stop, let's try this phrase, let's put this on hold. If you put something on hold, it means you're going to come back to it, but you have to pause it momentarily. We talk about putting someone on hold when we're speaking on the phone. Hey, can I put you on hold for a minute? This just means, can I just pause the conversation and come back? Maybe I have to talk to someone in real life or whatever it might be. Let's talk about getting things done. Instead of saying, I'm working on it or I'm working on it right now, English speakers will say, I'm on it. It's just a way shortened, way more casual way to say that we're going to do it right now or we are doing it right now. So maybe I am busy with something and I ask my husband, hey, can you go check the oven upstairs? I'm cooking something and I want to make sure it doesn't burn. If he's going to go do it for me, he'll say, oh yeah, I'm on it. This just means I can do it, no problem.
I'm on it, don't worry.
Instead of saying that you're going to delay something, you can also use this great idiomatic expression and you can say, we're going to put it on the back burner. This just means it's not our priority right now. We're not going to work on it right now, but we're going to keep it until later. The idiom is, let's keep it on the back burner. And if you want to say that someone is good at multitasking, you could just say that. Of course, you could also try out this idiom. You could say, he's good at juggling a lot of things at once. Or if you want to say that you are working on a lot of things or multitasking, you can use the idiom and say, I just have a lot to juggle right now. And of course, juggling is, the act when you're throwing balls in the air and catching them all at the same time. We use this phrase to juggle things all of the time in English just to mean that we're trying to do lots of things either at one time or just in our life in general. Maybe we're in work, school, we have kids, family obligations. We're juggling all of those things is how we use the phrase. I find that English learners use the adjective hasty to, say quick. Don't make hasty decisions or don't make quick decisions. But there's a really good idiom that you could be using for this as well. You could try out the phrase, don't jump the gun. This just means don't make a decision quicker than it needs to be because you could be making the wrong decision if you don't wait enough time.
Johnny, let's not jump the gun just yet, okay?
Another thing that's important to know, a lot of phrases For is expressing certainty. You are absolutely sure about something. So instead of just saying, I'm certain about it, or even I'm absolutely certain about it, American English speakers will say, oh, I'm 100% certain about it. This is such a common phrase you can use formally and informally. Another phrase that is not taught in textbooks is, I'm willing to bet on it. I'm willing to bet that. This just means you're certain. Now, English speakers will take this a step further and say, I would bet my life on it, or I would bet my children on it. And of course, you wouldn't say this unless you are very, very certain about something.
I'm 100% sure it's women.
Now, if you want to say that something is highly likely to happen, you're pretty sure it's going to happen, you can say, chances are it will happen. Don't worry, chances are it will work. So chances are is a good phrase to use instead of saying it's highly likely. You're meaning that the chances are good on something, or the probability is good of something happening. Chances are it will rain by the end of the week. If you're looking at the forecast and you're looking and thinking that it is going to rain, you can use this phrase here. Next, let's work on some phrases that are good for giving opinions. If you strongly believe something, you can use this phrase that is a bit tricky and it's definitely not taught in textbooks. You can use the phrase, I'm convinced that.
Oh, I'm convinced.
So one belief that I have is that when people go to concerts and they record videos on their phone, I'm convinced that they never actually watch those videos later. It just feels like you should be recording because everyone else around you is recording. Maybe you agree with me on this, maybe you don't, but I'm convinced that this is the truth. So again, this phrase is used to say I'm strongly believing that this is the truth, or I'm convinced that this is the truth. A lot of times in English, instead of saying opportunity, just because I don't know why opportunity just comes off as a bit more formal, you can say it's a good chance. Instead of saying it's a good opportunity, it's a good chance. Or maybe you want to say it's a good opportunity to speak with someone important. You could say it's a good chance to speak with someone important. It comes off just as a bit more informal and casual, so it's worth knowing that these two words can be pretty interchangeable, opportunity and chance. Let's talk about relationships, and if you want more relationship phrases, I'll post a video on screen as well where you can learn 50 new relationship-related phrases that are, again, really useful. But if you want to say that two people have a strong relationship or they get along very well and they know each other very well, you can instead use the phrase that's more commonly used and say they are very close. Or you can just say they're close. This means they have a strong relationship and again, they've known each other either for a long time or they're just very familiar with one another.
Very close.
When two friends or even two family members don't talk much anymore, or they just, they kind of maybe still get along, they're still friends, but they just don't hang out anymore, you could say they've lost touch. Oh, I've lost touch with a lot of my friends from school. This just means I haven't talked to them in a long time and I don't really have much of a relationship with them. Maybe you would say hi if you saw them ever again, but you don't text or email or do anything with them. I find that English learners have a hard time being advanced and expressing just basic feelings because they're so comfortable with just saying, I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy about this, I'm happy, or I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm tired. So let's talk about some more advanced phrases that you can add to your vocabulary. Instead of saying, I'm happy, try out the phrase, I couldn't be happier.
I really couldn't be happier.
Maybe you are asked, how did you feel about your job interview? And instead of saying, oh, I'm happy, it was good, you could say, oh, I couldn't have been happier about how it went. And this is just advancing our English, just having a variety of phrases to use. Instead of saying, I'm tired, you could say, I'm completely wiped out. This is a really common idiom to say that you're very tired. And instead of saying, I'm feeling sad, a really common phrase that is a little bit less direct, but just shows that you are very sad, is saying, I'm struggling. And this is implying that you're struggling with emotions or feelings about something.
I'm struggling.
I'm really impressed with you if you've watched this video all the way through. It means that you are so willing to improve your English and add new phrases to your English vocabulary. And if I encourage you to try out all the phrases that you learned in today's video, I think they're natural and I think that they will help you feel like you can express yourself in your everyday English conversations better. Make sure to visit EnglishWithKayla.com to check out my Upgrade to Native 6-week English course, and I'll post some videos on screen that will help you learn more phrases like the ones in today's lesson. I'll see you guys in the next video, and again, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye!